Hello everyone, welcome to Michigan Man MTG, and we're back for our first look at Magic the Gathering Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Over the weekend at New York City Comic Con, we got our first look at the set, which will be the second set of 2026. So without further ado, let's dive into the cards that are going to be coming to Standard. So first we've got Super Shredder for 1 and a black mana. You get a legendary creature that's a mutant ninja human and is a 1/1 with menace. And whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Super Shredder. So Shredder, obviously, it goes into any aristocrat style deck. We have one of those currently in Orzhov colors in Standard, but I can also see it going into a mobilized deck as well, where you're attacking with your mobilized creatures, and those tokens that are created are sacrificed at the end of turn, and that's going to grow Super Shredder. So I think those are two logical places in Standard for this, and we'll just have to see if it can find a home anywhere else. Next, we've got Raphael's Technique for 4 and 2 red mana. You get an instant with Sneak, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, for 2 and a red mana. Each player may discard their hand and draw 7 cards. So 6 mana, draw 7 cards, really powerful ability. Now, where you're probably going to see this play in Standard is because for 3 mana, you can sneak it into play. And what that means is you may cast a spell for 2 and a red mana. If you also return an unblock attacker, you control 2 hand during the declared blocker step. So I think where we're going to see this shine is actually in mono red. I know some other people don't see it that way, but one of the main problems that mono red has at times is you get to the mid to late game and you don't have a way to generate extra card draw. And Raphael's Technique is a way not only to get a card, but 7 new cards. And because of that, I think this is going to be a card that definitely is going to see Standard play. Is it a 4 of in red decks? No, but I think it's going to have 2, maybe 3 copies will find their way into mono red. Next, we've got Leonardo's Sewer Samurai for 3 and a white mana. You get another legendary creature that's a Mutant Ninja Turtle Samurai and is a 3/3 with Sneak for 2 and 2 white mana. He has double strike, and during your turn, you may cast creature spells with power 1 toughness or 1 power or less from your graveyard. If you cast a spell this way, that creature enters with a finality counter on it. So I think this is an interesting card. Again, it's got that sneak ability, so as long as, and we haven't got verification of this, as long as it's going to be tapped and attacking, then I think playing it for sneak cost makes some sense. But if it doesn't, then I don't really see this as seeing a lot of Standard play, where at least where you're going to sneak it into play. There is an advantage to that in some ways because it can't be countered. But again, we'll just have to kind of see where it fits. My guess is this will go in a deck that is going to be aggro focus with lots of 1 and 2 cost creatures. I mean, in some ways it would almost fit into an aristocrat style deck because you could replay cards from your graveyard, but we already have the ability to kind of bring all our 1 and 2 drops back with a spell. So probably going to be something that may be better in Commander than it is in other formats. Next, we've got Turtles Forever for 3 and a white mana. You get an instant, and you can search your library and or outside the game for exactly 4 legendary creature cards you own with different names, then reveal those cards. An opponent chooses 2 of them, put the chosen cards into your hand, and shuffle the rest into your graveyard. So interesting card here. Right now in Standard, I don't see it as playable currently because we don't have a Legends Matters deck currently in Standard, and putting 4 Legends into your sideboard doesn't seem like the best use for sideboard slots to take advantage of this. And because of that, I think probably where this is going to shine is in Commander, where you're playing a lot of legendary creatures anyways, and you play this as your 1 copy, you get it, and you're able to then put 2 legendary creatures into your hand, so 2 of your 4 best legends into your hand, and again, obviously your opponent gets to choose that, but we'll have to see if this has any kind of legs in Standard. Next, we've got Bebop and Rocksteady for 1 and 2 hybrid Golgari mana. You leisure creature that's a Boar Rhino mutant and is a 7/5. Whenever Bebop and Rocksteady attack or block, sacrifice a permanent unless you discard a card. So, interesting requirement on here. 7/5 for 3 mana is outstanding. And that ability then to have it sacrifice something, I think could actually be good in standard if you've got tokens that are like the munitions tokens from the munitions deck that you're sacrificing that give you value on top of that. So I think there may be a place for this in standard. I'm probably not wanting to discard cards with this, but if I've got a lot of tokens hanging around and I can sacrifice those, well then this would see, in my mind, some standard playability. Or it could be a card that I'm playing and I'm then going to fling at my opponent with Callous Sellsword or something of that nature. And under those circumstances, then I think it is standard playable. But we're going to have to see kind of where this fits in. Next, we've got April O'Neil, Hacktivist for 3 and a blue mana. You legendary creature that's a human scientist and is a 1/5. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card for each card type among spells you've cast this turn. We've got other cards that do this as well. And the 4 mana cost, I think, is what's going to keep this from seeing standard play. It just seems like 4 is going to be a lot, and then it has to survive on the battlefield probably for a turn before you're going to get any really benefit from it other than the 1 card you'll get because you've cast April this turn. So because of that, I'm not seeing this as a card that's going to see a lot of standard play, but maybe in the right deck where you've got kind of a spell slinger deck where you're doing instant sorceries and maybe some other things throughout the course of your turn, then it might have some playability. And our last card of the day is Casey Jones, Jury Rig Justicar. For 1 and a red mana, you get a legendary creature that's a human berserker and is a 2/1 with haste. And whenever Casey Jones enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. We currently have the weapons manufacturing deck in standard, so maybe Casey Jones fits in there as a way, of going and getting an artifact that you want, given the circumstances of the gameplay. If it was getting the enchantment, weapons manufacturing, I think that would be even better. But as long as you're able to then, play cards, get the benefit of them, then I think Casey for 2 mana makes sense in that style of deck. And just on the surface, haste 2/1 creature for 2 mana, that's not a bad rate anyways. Kind of the power creep that we've seen over the last few years kind of makes us feel worse than that, but I think it's certainly standard playable in that kind of style of deck where we're going to be using something like weapons manufacturing as a way to take advantage of the artifacts we're going to be playing out of our deck. Alright, that's our first look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We'll have to see what we get from the rest of the set, but at least we're going to see some interesting mechanics from it, and we'll have to again see what the set holds for us in the long run. So thanks for staying to the end of the video, and remember to like and subscribe to get further content like this throughout Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle spoiler season and beyond. Thanks, I'll see you in the next one.